here we see that Noah's appearance was very different than what the family of Adam was used to experiencing. So, yeah, according to the text here, it says that he was the first blonde-haired, colored-eyed person. So that would mean, now let's go to the index real quick. Let's go to the index. Let's go to chapter 89. If I could just find it here. Here it is. Chapter 89. I read this before in another of my videos, but let's take a look at it. It says here. Okay, so let's go to verse 9. It says, "But that white bull, who is Noah," this is from one of the parables of the book of Enoch, chapter 89 and verse 9. "But that white bull, who happens to be Noah, had become a man, came out of the vessel, the boat, and the 3 bulls, his 3 sons with him, and one of those 3 sons was like Noah, white, and one of them was red, Shem, and one black, Ham." So that would mean that Japheth would be looking like his old man. So he would be what? Colored-eyed and blonde hair. Amazing, isn't it? So that means that we have Japheth's descendants to be people with those characteristics. And you only find them, a lot of them, they're all over the place now, but in Europe. So I always thought that was the Asiatic people. But clearly they don't fit the description. So, hey, I make mistakes too, and I'll be the first one to admit them. That was what I was assuming, but I wasn't reading this Noah's description too carefully. And now that I have, hey. But here's the thing though. It's the reason I'm making this video is because of a lot of the deception that's been going on with these fallen angels. That means that these beings have exploited the descendant of Japheth to a certain extent because they look alike, remember? So I don't think it'd be wise for anybody to look at certain individuals funny just because, they look like the oppositions. What I'm getting at is you got to use discernment, A lot of our, Japhetic brothers have been persecuted heavily because, a lot of them are villainized because they have, resemblance to that of the angels, fallen angels, and people think that, they look at them suspicious or funny. And I'm not saying that that's not, always be on the alert, but remember, you have some of your brothers from Japhet that look just like them. And you gotta look at the person's spirit. You can't be too what's the word I'm looking? You can be cautious, but not to the point where you're like, use discernment. The best thing you could do in this situation is use discernment to try to identify what spirit are they operating under. So that's pretty interesting. I thought that was, wow, pretty fascinating. Trying to fit, just when I thought I had most of the pieces to the puzzle, something else pops up and, makes you examine the whole thing more carefully. Give it another second look. And yep, I guess Japhet is the forefather of some of the blonde race. Not all of them, because some of them came from the fallen angels, and it's hard to tell who's who. But anybody who's not under Christ, under the faith, you could pretty much mark them suspect, no matter what color they may be. So, wow, I thought So now my question is, where does the Asians fit? The Far Eastern people. Are they under Japhet too? I wonder. Some say that the Shemites fall under the what we call Asian people. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say that I do know because I don't. But to me, in my opinion, I think they are their own people. They look nothing Asiatic. I seen Shemites, natives with round eyes. The reason they look slantish maybe is because, like I said, they mix with them. But where do the Asian? Remember, Asian is a continent. So you gotta be careful what you put certain races under. So I just refer to them as, like, for example, your Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, Filipinos, etc. Where would they fall under? Japheth or Shem? So if anyone has information, feel free to let me know, because I like to know this myself. Now that I found out that Noah stems from people that resemble like the northern European people, it's making me look at things a little different now. And it looks like I have a whole lot of digging to do now, because I like to look into these things not just for personal knowledge and historical reasons, but it helps, break down the wall of deception that's been put out by these beings. And I'm starting to notice that they exploited the descendants of Japheth, the first son of Noah, because they resemble them. And it's just a shame, A shame. You don't want to be attacking your brother just because you perceive him to be of such. So, like I said, you judge him by the spirit, not by the looks. But obviously, when I first read this, I was like, wow, amazing. Freaking amazing. That's all I could say. So obviously, brother Japhet inherited the good-looking features, as it says here. So I just thought it'd be interesting to share this with you guys. And like I said, we're all in it together, trying to figure out the truth. And yes, he was the first white man. There's no doubt about that. We just read it. And Japhet, as it says here in verse 9, chapter 89, book of Enoch, looks just like his old man. So, I mean, the description couldn't be any more clear. Long locks, white wool, blonde hair, colored eyes. Body like the color of snow, red as the blooming of a rose. And even with that little mistranslation, if we kept going down and reading, it says that, yeah, it references the same description again here in verse 10. That his body's whiter than snow, red in the bloom of a rose, and his hair of his head is whiter than white wool. And no, he is not albino. White wool, white wool. Look it up. Blonde hair. Have you seen any albino with colored eyes? Any Asian with colored eyes? Or with white hair? No. So this is clearly describing a people that are mostly found all over the place. But like I said, first thing that comes to my mind, the people of Europe. And remember, that was Japhet's portion, so that's understandable. Now the question is, where does the Eastern people fit in? Maybe they're an extension of Japhet. I don't know. So I do like to apologize for that. And I would love and appreciate you guys if you share any insight that you guys have, because I love history and I just want to know the truth. And any errors that I make, I like to correct myself and apologize to anybody that, you know, I might have misled ignorantly. But hey, the truth's out there. We just, it says, seek and you shall find, and that's what I'm doing. So on that note, I'm going to end this video. I don't want it to drag on too long. I love you guys. Appreciate your support. And like I say, the only way to not be deceived or confused is if you look these things up yourself. If you have any love for the truth, care to know these things like I do, then don't forget to share and remember, because the truth is only half yours. So much love, God bless, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.